Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the New Jersey Business and Industry Association's Women Business Leaders Council meeting. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're just going to give everyone a few seconds to migrate in from the waiting room. As you make your way in, please mute yourself and switch your view from gallery to speaker. If you're not sure how to do that, the team will post some direction in the chat. Quick reminder that this program is being recorded and you are all muted for the duration. To kick things off, I'm going to pass it to one of our council leaders, Lorena Mosqueda.
Hello, everyone. I am so excited to be here. And as we're just saying that, computers are going a little bit crazy. So good morning, everyone, and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name again is Lorena Mosqueda, and I am the workflow strategist for Paradigm Marketing and Design. And if you don't know what a workflow strategist is, it's basically a data geek. I work with everything that has to do with a CRM technology, which is a client and customer relationship manager. We're so glad that you can make it to this month's Women's Business Leaders Council meeting. Just a quick reminder, as Kate said, that this program is being recorded. A big shout out to my fellow co-chairs for 2023, Bertia Chambers, founder and CEO of Epic Transformation, Stephanie Staub, Director of Infrastructure and Energy Strategy and Workforce Partnership at the New Jersey Community Colleges, Sally Jo O'Brien, Director of Coaching of the Human Emergence Group. I'd also like to thank our sustaining partner, NJ Manufacturers Insurance Group, our business roundtable partners, CGI and New Jersey Community College Consortium, our presenting partners, PSENG, our platinum partner, Prime Point HRMS and Payroll, and lastly, our event partners, Association Members Trust, Focus New Jersey, and New Jersey Business Magazine. We're going to incorporate some networking into this event, so make sure you take advantage of that a little later. And now I'm going to go ahead and toss this back to Kate.
Thank you. We at the New Jersey Business and Industry Association are thrilled that this group continues to grow and thrive under the leadership of such amazing women. For those of you who are new to NJBIA, we are the largest statewide business association in the country, representing approximately 1 million jobs in the state of New Jersey, which amounts to about 1/4 of New Jersey's workforce. We offer customer development opportunities, visibility through events, magazine ads, or our podcast and TV shows, and money-saving discounts on stuff you're probably already paying for, like payroll, healthcare, a 401k solution, and HR support. If you're interested in more info on us, I will drop the website, I will drop the website into the chat along with my contact info. Feel free to be in touch and we can get you whatever you need. And an FYI, we have created a Women Business Leaders Council group on LinkedIn. I'll drop a link for that in the chat as well. And hopefully that'll be a place where we can continue to learn and network and grow. And finally, one last FYI, our largest event of the year is happening next week, our Women Business Leaders Forum. We're expecting 500 women to do some networking and professional development next week, Wednesday and Thursday at the Newark Airport Marriott. There are still tickets available. I'll put the link for that in the chat as well. It is going to be amazing. It is. Don't tell anybody. It's my favorite event of the year. So definitely think about coming out to that. And with that, I'm going to toss it right back to Lorena.
I am so excited for next week. Like, I cannot wait. It is one of my favorite events as well. And I missed it last year, so I'm super psyched to be going again this year. With that, it is my pleasure to introduce Queen Stewart. Through cancer came urgency, an urgency for Queen to live her life and find joy. Just prior to her stage 3 breast cancer diagnosis, Queen managed a successful law office out of Cherry Hill, New Jersey. She, her husband, and 2 daughters live in Voorhees, New Jersey. And from the very beginning, Queen decided that she would make the best out of her cancer journey. She began pursuing interests that she set aside, such as comedy and singing. Her adventures have been documented via film and social media, which will lead to the release of a full-length documentary entitled Create Urgency. Queen's journey has been written about in a number of local publications, in addition to being spotlighted on CBS News. She has taken up motivational speaking as a way to share this important message of urgency. She grew up in Monmouth County, attended Montclair State University, and later attended Rutgers School of Law in New York. With that, I'm going to hand it on over to a fellow breast cancer sister. And I said this right before we started. Very important for you guys to get your checks, but I think it's so important and so empowering that you're sharing your story. I know that I also had a breast cancer a diagnosis a few years ago, and not many women share their journey. So I think it's remarkable that you're sharing and, telling us what you learned and how you created urgency. So with that, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Lauren. Good morning, everyone. And yes, vulnerability has been my superpower. Speaking about this has been one, educational for others, but it's really been therapeutic for myself. Is there any way for me to see the participants on the screen as I speak? It helps me. It gives me energy. Is there a way to do that?
Yeah, if
I
you
did it. Okay,
there you
thank
go.
you. Now I can
Okay.
see everyone's yes. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Wow. So thank you for the introduction again. When I was diagnosed, literally a month or two after moving into new office space, my world stopped. Everything was turned around. I went from that business person creating and building a practice to a cancer patient for stage 3 breast cancer. And in those moments, those early moments, all I could think about was my girls, right? My family, and what am I going to do with what I have to face right now? And that was get through it. I don't know what exactly it was about me that felt like, okay, an easy way to get through this would be to do comedy, but that was one of the things I did. I don't know exactly what it was about me to say, okay, singing online to strangers will get you through this, but that is what I did. And from that, I started to speak as much as I could, as often as I could to people about creating urgency in their life before tragedy strikes. It's almost like I'm giving people a message from the other side. And normally when we hear that term, they say the other side, we're thinking about something pretty like grim. But the other side is a side of knowing, a side of enlightenment that not everyone has a chance to get because they haven't gone through something very traumatic, right? And so because I had that awakening, I want to give it to everyone. I want to give it to you before something horrible happens or something life changing happens. I'm telling you, there are things you can be doing right now to bring yourself more joy and more happiness. And I know a message like that is not always easily received, or you know what, people receive it well, but you don't know how to act on it. And one time, as I was being interviewed with SJ Magazine, because they did like a 7 or 8 part series of following Queen, she said, Queen, if someone gave you this advice, would you have listened? Would you have been able to act on it as you were running your practice with 2 small children, with a husband? And I'm a very hands-on mom and wife. So I do all the traditional things we're supposed to do on top of having 2 businesses, my law practice, and I also have a satin baby bedding company. I told her probably not, because I wouldn't have had the time to do anything outside of what I was doing. I know different now. I know from experience. And, my dad used to always say to me, wise people learn from others. And that's what I need you all to do, to be wise people and learn from me to create urgency in your life before tragedy strikes, period. Now, how did I do that? I started to look at things that used to bring me joy that I just left behind. And singing was always that for me. Since I was a little girl, I was a songbird, and I would just sing, and I would sing in front of people and ask them to listen, or ask them, what do you think? Do you think I have a good voice? Right? I was always looking for validation. And at some point along as I grew, I stopped singing and just focused on building a career, building a life with my family, and becoming a professional. As soon as I started chemotherapy, because at this point now I'm stuck to my bed, and I'm stuck to the bed, I'm stuck to the doctor's office, and I'm on a cancer schedule. I'm not on a clean schedule anymore. I decided, sing, turn the camera on, and just start doing that again. Not caring about, well, do people think you sound good? It didn't matter, because did cancer think I was ready? No. Like there's no reason for you to stop pursuing things that you enjoy because of what the perception will be from the people that are receiving it. it brought so much delight to my life to just sing to strangers on social media. And then on top of that, I entered a stand-up 101 comedy course with Helium Comedy Club in Philadelphia. You may have heard of it. They have a course that anyone can sign up for on Sundays, 3 hours in the morning, where they teach you how to present your jokes. They cannot make you funny. I will say this again, they cannot make you funny, but they will teach you how to present your jokes. And I will say I had a leg up on that because I'm a trial attorney. So I presented in front of complete strangers and I persuade people. And so it wasn't hard for me to get up and to do that. And I took it like I approached it like a class, any other class. I had my notebook, I sat in the front and I listened and I practiced and I went to as many open mics as I could. And when it was time for our graduation comedy show, I was funny. I killed. Okay. And the next time I have a show, I'm going to invite all of you to come because I still do. I have shows. My most recent show, I collaborated with the American Cancer Society. It was a complete fundraiser, and we had a Create Urgency Presents. I didn't call it Laugh at It. My last show, I call it Laugh at It. This show, I don't think I had a real name. I think it was just Sense of Urgency. But folks came out from the Cancer Society, from Cancer World, and just those who support us and those who love stand-up comedy. And it was a great show. Once I started to see that my message was resonating with people from all walks of life, I just could not stop, right? And I get emotional about it. I'm coming up on my 2nd year of survivorship next month, which is my birthday month, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. And I get choked up because so many people reach out to say, seeing what you did, seeing what you're doing is really inspiring. And how can you stop? How can you stop talking when you know that you're making a difference in people's lives? So that'll bring me to this point, which is your hidden talents can help people. Think about that. Whatever it is that you have inside, because I know that we all have these things inside because we're human beings, and regardless of your walk of life, your faith, what you believe in, I know now, you can't convince me otherwise, that each of us have something so incredibly special that we can be sharing to other people. And along the way, you're going to be helping yourself, but most importantly, you're going to be helping others. My philosophy is that we're here to help others. And, from the start of creation, in the beginning of creation, people question, why are we here? It is an age-old question, right? I'm telling you, we're here to help other people. And I know this now because just over this past 2 years, by speaking and sharing and doing, I'm helping so many people, but it's transformed me. It's transformed me in ways that I'm still learning how to speak about, like learning how to find the words. And I'm a words person to explain to you what it means. So creating urgency is, oh my goodness, once you start, you're not going to stop. You're not going to stop. And, they asked me, we had, I think it was back in March, to come and do a talk like this with you all, to tell you how I created urgency and to encourage and inspire you to create urgency too. A couple other ways I did that was by filming the documentary, which is currently being entered into festivals. So fingers crossed that I will get picked up by a festival, because I can't show you all until I find out, because they don't want you to see it. Like, it's a whole weird business, this festival stuff. But creating that documentary was, again, therapeutic, but I wanted to have a body of work that, and, I'm just going to say it, I don't know what will happen 5 years from now, because we know how cancer works. So I wanted to have something there that, people can hit play and see, and that my 2 girls can watch and know that being strong is one thing, but living in your creativity is a whole nother thing. It's another message that I always bring with me is when you truly stop, right? Because we're all businesswomen, and I'm still a businesswoman because I run a satin baby bedding company. Even though I'm not running my practice, I still am an attorney. But now I know that I'm first. So I follow this one therapist. If you know Jonah Hill, he's a comedian, and yep. And he recently did a documentary, and he interviewed his therapist, which is super cool. I think it's on Netflix. And his therapist, he talked about how we can really be a whole person. And he had his idea is that it's like a pyramid, and there's three parts to the pyramid, and the bottom foundation is your health and your fitness, right? So we have those New Year's resolutions to eat right and work out. But that bottom portion of the triangle is truly your health and your fitness. The second part is your relationship with other people. And again, I just spoke about that, how important it is to help others. And then that top part is your relationship with yourself. And it's another way I'm creating urgency in my life is to really follow that pyramid, to really focus on what I eat and the amount of physical activity I get every day. My relationship with other people is paramount. I mean, it's so important to me. And I know the fitness is most important, but I talk to strangers all the time. I was like this before, but like cancer is like a new level. It's like another another level. Like I haven't met a stranger. Some of you may know that saying, right? I haven't, because there's just so many things that are the same about us. And so I started to do things that I left behind. I started to focus on my fitness and my health even more so than before. Family and personal relationships are paramount to being able to really have the space and the freedom to create urgency, because I know a lot of questions that come up, and this may come up when we go through our roundtable, and I can't wait to just talk to people just conversationally. But a lot of things that come up are, well, how do you have the time and support from your family to just start comedy? You have two small kids, but you're going to open mics at 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. Who is giving you the license to do that? You have to just you tell your husband, you tell your wife, you tell your spouse, we need to talk about how my life is changing and how you need to be on board. If you don't make that hard stand for yourself, then you'll be stuck, because I'm telling you, there will be pushback. I've had so many people talk to me, friends and family and people that love me, and say, well, shouldn't you be home? Like, how are you starting comedy in your late 30s with two small kids? Well, because I'm first. It's a mindset that really has to come with creating urgency, because you're going to get all the pushback in the world. You're going to have people, even as a cancer patient, tell you, well, you're a patient, Queen. Do you have the bandwidth to do all of this? And this was what was told to me as I was going through chemotherapy. And if I had listened to those people that meant well, but at the same time were discouraging, I wouldn't have accomplished all I did in 2 years. So it's a way of life, and it comes really from just having self-love and understanding that if you don't do this for yourself, you may never have the opportunity to do it. It's just as simple as that, because prior to October of 2021, I wasn't doing much for myself. I wasn't. In fact, I took pride in when people would say, oh, well, what are your hobbies? What do you do on your downtime? What do you do for fun? And I would say, well, sometimes I watch TV at night if I get a chance. I had no hobbies. I had nothing outside of building a practice, raising a family, cooking food, doing laundry. There was nothing really for me that was lighting and keeping that fuel inside of me for just my development. There was nothing. And we don't realize how bad that is until you actually have a moment to sit back and say, wow, what was I doing all this time? Like, and that's what happened when I started to treat, and I went to chemotherapy. I had to, get my files away. I had to shut down. And then I realized outside of that, Queen, you didn't have anything. That's sad. It really is sad. I'm going to take a moment because I do get choked up. I'm going to take a moment. And also I want to take this moment just so you can think about that. I'm going to get a book real fast. And I didn't think I would do this, but I want to grab a book. I want to show it to you. Is this recorded? Ignore the pants that you're going to see. Okay, because they don't match the shirt. But I really do want to bring this book over here.
I think we've all gotten used to like the Zoom filter. It's just from the waist up. So you go get what you need to get, and we'll hang up.
I want to share it. I'm going to squat so you don't see my pants.
That's hysterical. I think we've all gotten used to the fact that, we're in post-COVID land. It's really from the waist up that we all care about, because if you looked at me now, you'd see my ripped jeans and my big socks on. So it doesn't matter.
This book helped. And it's backwards, but this book is Self-Love Poetry by Melody Gottfried. And what I do with this book, and this book is so great because she has one side for thinkers. On each page, it's a thinker page, and then there's a feeler side. And I'm definitely much more of a feeler, but I think too, so I got it all. But I'm much more of a feeler. And every day I just thumb through it, and I just don't even look, right? Just land on a page. And somehow it always lands on something that I needed to hear. Like, it's like, oh, I needed to hear this, right? That's how good this book is. And so just now I'm going to read fillers first, because I always do. When things got hard, I used to close all my windows and doors, my soul tucked away in a quiet box. Now I embrace vulnerability, windows open, freedom abundant, moonlight rushing in to spotlight my truth. Right, that was fillers. Left brain thinkers. Put on a brave face. And she had line through brave face. She put a line through it. Put on a brave face. Any face that represents the way you're actually feeling. Okay, that's definitely a thinker thing, because I'm like, I will have to read that a few times to understand what she is saying. But you know what? It's not, and I think what she's saying is, we're always told to be strong, put on a brave face, right? And then she put a line to that on purpose, a face that represents the way you're actually feeling. You have to be vulnerable. And I think, this page in a whole, because usually it correlates with the same topic, is about vulnerability. To really create urgency, and the reason I got that book to share with you, to really create urgency, you have to get to a place where you are so comfortable and loving of yourself that you're going to come first all the time. The goals or the amount of money you want to make, or the what you want to present to the world, all of that, it ceased to matter. Like, I don't know, it's hard to explain. It ceased to matter, especially when you're faced with your mortality. I'm telling you, ladies, it's all ladies here, right? It's the Women's Council. It doesn't matter as much as you think it does. What matters is that little person inside that you may have left behind, because those dreams or those goals or those hobbies don't fit in your professional business life, so you left them. But they are so important to you, to bring in your whole self to the businesses that you work in. And now post-treatment, right? Because post-active treatment, because I still am in treatment. I'm on a pill for the next 10 years, and hopefully that'll be it. But post-active treatment, I had chemotherapy, I had radiation. The double mastectomy was first. After that, I'm easing back into real life because I've been chilling very, very hard for like 2 years, and not at all, you know, feeling sorry or apologetic about it. I've been living and relaxing and just doing me, as they say, for 2 years. But now I'm just taking on a new role this September with the legal clinic in Camden, New Jersey, Volunteer Up Legal Clinic, where I'm going to be able to provide free legal counsel to those who would otherwise not be able to afford. I no longer am building a practice. Every now and again, I may take a case just because I would like to. It comes my way and it seems like a good case, but now I'm not trying to build this thing, because I realized through my journey that it really, that type of work I wasn't doing it for me. I was doing it for appearances, and I was doing it because this is what I should do. You are a boss. You have a law practice. You're in Cherry Hill, New Jersey. And I had the absolute privilege of understanding and realizing through my journey that that was not for me. Now, that may not be everyone's journey, because I'm still a boss. I still have my baby bedding business. I have created a sense of urgency where I speak to people, and I'm writing a book, and I did a documentary. I'm still doing what I'd love to do, but in a much different way. And again, to get there, I had to really love myself and give myself the license to sit in my creativity and do things that was really bringing me joy. Do you need a tragedy to happen for you to get there? I don't think you do. I don't think you do. Will it be harder? Probably, because there's something that comes with the mindset of a survivor, or the mindset of someone that's been faced with a life-changing situation. There's a mindset. But I think that and I hear from people that they can absolutely get there. I have a friend, and she's given me permission to speak about this, so I do all the time because it's an amazing story. She was the class speaker at our law school graduation. This was law is her second career. She was a librarian before she came to law school. She's 10 years older than I am, and she was a superstar, smart, that type of student that it just seemed so easy, and everyone was jealous about it, and got the best job out of law school. She was amazing, right? And after law school, she went and she worked at the DA's office in Manhattan. If you know, it is the hardest DA's office to get into in the country, Manhattan DA. And she excelled. And I had no idea until she reached out to me last year. It was spring, so I was diagnosed October 2021, and she reached out to me in spring of 22. And she said, I really need to speak to you, Queen. And we spoke. And I found out that she left her job. She and her husband they rented out their house in Jersey City, moved to North Carolina. He's pursuing his acting, and she is writing. And I found out then as well, had dealt with depression for the majority of her adult life. I never knew that about her. Suicidal ideation, I never knew that about her. She listened to all the things I put on Facebook and Instagram. Myself, I can't take all the credit for her epiphanies, but she did a lot of self-work. But she told me that just by sharing and doing, that she was inspired. And she is a beautiful, smart, strong woman, right? But now she's also a self-loving woman. She's loving herself in a way that she hadn't done. So now I do know, I can say with absolute confidence that you can get there with creating urgency without a tragedy happening. You can get there without a life-altering event. You just have to know that there's something more. And some of you may be there, but I'm speaking to you like you're not, because that's the point of this talk. And I'm also speaking to you like you're not, because I've met so many people that I know most people aren't there. Most people aren't there. And it's like, again, I'm speaking to you from the other side. And you can absolutely get there. You can create urgency in your life. And I would love to, you know, answer individual questions, or even, I don't know how much more time we have, or what the.
So we have until 11. We can start questions and answers now. If that's what you'd like to do, that would be fantastic.
I would love to, because you know what I've found? That the best part of my speaking is the conversation and the dialogue. So the quicker we get there, not because I can talk all day, I find that is just the best. And the good thing about my message, which is creating urgency in your life, is that it transcends all areas. It's not about if you've gone through a medical issue. It's not about marriage. It's not about kids. It's literally life. Literally life. Anywhere you are. I mean, I can talk to high schoolers about this, and I can go to the nursing home and talk to seniors. Like it just never. It is always an important topic that anyone can benefit from.
So if you have a question, if you'd like to unmute yourself and ask, or if you prefer to put it into the chat, that's fine too. I'm going to keep my camera off because my internet is a little bit struggling right now.
Okay. And then is someone gonna, okay, because I'm trying to see if I can see. I can't everything, but if you, yes.
I can pull the questions out of the chat, absolutely. No questions?
Don't be shy.
I don't have a question, but I do have a comment, if you don't mind.
Okay.
So I take my hat off to you in terms of how you've handled everything, because I have dealt with, I think, breast cancer in my family, like on my mother's side, you know, from my grandmother to several aunts. And that sense of urgency that you're talking about didn't come until the time came when it kind of had to come, if you know what I mean. So the importance of, you know, the urgency coming beforehand, I think is important in terms of making sure that you have that overall well-being and things like that. You know, they were, you know, of a certain age where it was almost like, I guess, you know, kind of accepting what was to be. And, you know, I don't want to say making the best of it, but you know how you found happiness in singing and you found happiness in comedy. You know, I saw kind of like the other side of that. So, you know, it's definitely, I just agree with your message wholeheartedly in terms of making sure that you focus on that whole person, the health side of it, the relationship side of it, and just making sure that you are really, you know, living your best.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Birdie, am I saying that right?
Berdia, thank you.
Berdia. Thank you. Yep. And it's so true. It's like, also gratitude goes with it. It's almost it's like hand in hand. When you are acting with a sense of gratitude, then the urgency just kind of comes with it. It's like I was speaking, I can only see myself again. I don't know if that's, can I fix that? Oh, I think I can fix that. Okay, here we go. I don't know what it is about speaking to myself that I just can't talk anymore. It's like sorry. You know what I mean? But leading, but
if you go up to view, you can change it.
I got it. Yes, yes. Yeah. Leading and acting with gratitude too, right? Is like it helps push that urgency, because now that I'm transitioning from, okay, went through treatment, you're back in the real world, you're working, how do I stay? Like, how does this stay with me? It is something, because this is gonna be the next part of my talks. It's like, how do you keep it? And I'm telling you, it's challenging. It's challenging, because if you look at my kitchen right now, if you look at the laundry right now, it's like, wow, this is how it was before. But I was failing, and I hate, I'll find a better word, because it's not a failure. You have to give ourselves grace, right? But I wasn't on top of it like I had been, because I didn't have the responsibilities like I did for 2 years. Thank goodness for my husband. Like, let's just take a moment and say thank you, like, to him, because for 2 years I didn't have that responsibility like I do now. And it's like, how do I, like, now I'm speaking to myself, okay? Because I use these talks and when I'm on social media as really like therapy and counseling to myself. How do I keep my urgency and keep my joy, but then go right back to being the mother of this house? Because I take that role very, very seriously. And I can do it. And I was literally just talking to my husband this morning, is preparation and planning. I just have to be like, ladies, can we do it all? Yes, and we will. And what's the alternative? To not? I can't. That's not me. I can't just not do it. It's going to get done, but you have to have grace. You have to give yourself grace. Was there any?
Yeah, I thank you for sharing that. And Grace, and I had a friend who, when I had my baby, who is now 20, going to be 21, I was freaked out. The house was a mess and blah, blah, blah. And I'm a professional. And she said, and she was an attorney. She said, "Oh, Sally, you have to lower your standards." And I thought, not me. I'm not lowering myself, but the fact is you have to give yourself some grace and lower your expectations a little bit will help a bit.
Yes.
I think. And so what I wanted to share, it's a little funky, but so today is the anniversary of my husband's passing, and he died 18 years ago when my daughter was 3, and he died of cancer, lymphoma. And as regarding sense of urgency, I want in communion with you, Queen, I want to say, take your health seriously and take your family's health seriously. Even though he was a physician and it was a recurrence, he just didn't think this was going to come back. And he did not have the sense of urgency about it that I regret that he didn't, that I wish he had. And your body is does what it does. What I mean? There's a lot of things that prayer and healthy living can solve, and partner with your body as and I'm talking to myself here, to get your checkups and take care of yourself and pay attention. That's all. Yeah. So
absolutely. Thank you, Sally. I mean, in fact, I'm probably the healthiest I've ever been. Aside from what's happened, and I'm on medication. Most days I walk 5 miles in the morning. I get up at 6:30. My walk is an hour and a half. So by the time I come in the door, the girls are downstairs ready to eat. But I do it early because for me, you have to find a schedule too, especially if you're talking about health and fitness. Where can you plug it in your day? For me, getting it done in the morning and having it done. And if I have time later to do some weights, I do that too. But you're absolutely right. I do weight strengthening because the medication I'm on breaks my bones down. So the doctor says it's best for me to do some weights. I do that. Primarily, I have a plant-based diet, but I made a delicious steak last night and I took a piece. Like I couldn't make this delicious steak for the family and I have a piece. So there is, like the expectations, right? Not being so tight on yourself that you can break. Like you can break. We have to like kind of release a little bit and don't forget to live. So that comment is spot on. Like I do not play about my health, because some survivors, and I can't judge them, they say, who knows what's going to happen? I'm going to eat everything I want to eat and I'm going to drink what I'm going to do what I want. That's not my philosophy. My philosophy is I'm going to act today like I'm going to be here tomorrow because I just have so many things that I want to see, like my girls graduate from high school. my girls have children, whatever it is they want to do, my girls be happy. I just want to, there's just so much I want to see and be here for, that I just think about that when I'm acting in my life.
That was fantastic. I'm going to turn my camera on and hope that my internet lives to see another day. Thank you, Queen. Thank you so much for that inspiring conversation. Yeah, you've got me thinking about urgency, and I'm really excited to start implementing some opportunities. So yes.
I'm sorry, I say, because I don't know if we said it, I will be at one of the breakout sessions next week at the conference, and that session is entitled Finding Your Bliss. So how very similar to this, but I'm gonna, on a panel, I think it's 6 of us, speak more into how do you integrate creating urgency with your working life, and how do you make a nice working relationship with those two things, because it is possible. So I hope I can see some of you that are here this morning at the breakout. We'll be in person. We'll have a worksheet to give to you where you can start thinking about some of these things, and it's going to be a really, really good session.
Totally agree. I was just going to mention that, and I'm so glad that you did. You did a much better job than you did a much better job than I would have done. So now we're just going to jump into a little networking. We've got 15 minutes for networking. You're going to see a pop-up to join a breakout room. One person in each room should help manage the time so that everybody's able to do their 2-minute introduction. We will not be returning to this room once the networking is done. We're just going to close everything out. And as Danielle puts us into the breakout rooms, we do have one question to help your conversation get started. What is something that you haven't done in a while, or something that you used to love and haven't done in a while? And so with that, officially, thank you to Queen. Thank you to everyone for being here. And Danielle, by all means, take us into breakout rooms.
Yes, give me 1 second.
Thanks, Katie.